Talk about that and all things money and market. We're joined today by Mitch Rochelle. He's here. He's an economic and policy commentator. Good morning, Mitch.
Morning, guys.
So, President Trump posting on Truth Social. Our Fed rate is at least 3 points too high. Too late is costing the U.S. $360 billion a point per year in refinancing costs. No inflation. Companies pouring into America, the hottest country in the world. Lower the rates. Well, the president not being shy, Mitch, about who wants to lead the Fed, posting this. Anybody but too late.
Anybody.
He's good at leadership. He's good at the economy. He's good at, thwarting threats and actors around the world, as well as the Fed. What's your take on Jerome Powell and everything President Trump just said?
Well, I agree with the president's assessment that interest rates are certainly too high. Other countries around the world, who raised rates to combat inflation have lowered rates way more aggressively than we have. And I think what the president's uber focused on is our competitiveness with the rest of the world. And that's what all of this tariff struggle is about. And one of the elements of being competitive is the interest rates to borrow to build businesses in your country. So that's one key important point. The other sort of wonky point is that short-term rates are basically the same as long-term rates, and that just doesn't work for our banking system. So I can make a list of 10 reasons, but we run up against a hard break of why we need to lower interest rates. And right now, our economy can handle lower interest rates. So the president's absolutely right. It's always too late with Jerome Powell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I have to say, all of his Truth Social posts about Fed Chair Jerome Powell happen to be incredibly comical. I love them. I just think they're hilarious. But in terms of who might take over from Jerome Powell, there is a lot of speculation, Mitch. Jerome Powell's tenure is over in May of 2026. They're floating names. Some Kevins are being floated. Kevin Warsh, former Fed Chair, Board of Governors, and Kevin Hassett, of course, who has been leading the part of the tariff negotiation team. Is there anyone that stands out to you, and as well as the fact that, do you think Jerome Powell will ultimately cut rates between now and May?
Yeah, certainly by the end of the year, I think we'll see a cut, but it will be too late. I didn't intentionally do that, by the way, and not enough. Too little, too late. I would think that Kevin Hassett's a name that stands out. I mean, there's somebody who's been an economic advisor in Trump's 45 administration, back with him again in the 47 administration, and all the while in between has always been a proponent of Trump's economic policy and Trump's vision for the U.S. economy. So I have a feeling that it's going to be somebody like that. Mm-hmm. But, I have to look at Polymarket to see what the line is at right now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Mitch, we here at Newsmax and Newsmax2, well, we report real news for real people. And as you already know, real people want to buy cars, want to own homes. Can you describe how bad the lending market is right now for most working class Americans looking to make probably the most important purchase of their lives?
I think that on the home front, John, the real issue is that the prices of homes are stubbornly high. I don't see them falling anytime soon in a meaningful way. So the only way to make a house more affordable to a buyer is to have the mortgage rate be lower. Property taxes, which are the second highest thing that you have to pay for as a homeowner, property taxes aren't going down. So the only variable there is got to be interest rates. So it is very frustrating. The other thing is, between the high home price and the high mortgage cost, you have to make $127,000 to be able to afford the median home price. That's up very sharply from where it was pre-pandemic, where it was like $80-something thousand. Just think about that for the average American. I'm talking about the average. People are not making enough money to be able to afford that average home in America. And that is a complete threat to the American dream. You're absolutely right, John.
And the thing is that energy costs are down right now, but President Trump is not going to be in office forever. So we have another two variable costs that goes into home ownership, which is energy as well as home insurance. So we got to bring down the cost somehow.
Oh, for sure. And this is also a policy issue that Zohran Mamdani is running on, and free homes, free housing for everyone. Who's going to pay for it? But that's a major issue here. Turning to this, though, we are in the throes of tariff negotiations, and the president has his sights on Brazil, saying, in terms of Brazil responding, saying his country would respond to a new 50% tariff rate on its exports to the U.S. I mean, he's really focused on Brazil now because of former President Bolsonaro and saying how Brazil has been stifling freedom of speech. How do you think this back and forth with Brazil will play out?
I think the reason why he's going after Brazil is because all of the BRICS nations and China and Russia are in that pile, are sort of conspiring to form a economic bloc to take on the United States and challenge the U.S. dollars being the reserve currency for the planet. China's behind that, and basically, I think Brazil's a bit of a useful idiot in that process. So he's going after them because B is the first letter in the BRICS acronym. Seriously, there's a lot of countries there, but I think, he's got his issues with Russia, he's got his issues with China, and he's tackling those on different fronts. I think now he's trying to go after Brazil, probably to just weaken that alliance between all of those countries.
Yeah. Well, Mitch Rochelle, never enough time with you, but always appreciate your joining us. Thank you.
You bet. Great to see you both.
You got it.